Here's how to craft a mace for any slam build that is very similar to something like this. Now, this is a pretty crazy weapon, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. So the first thing you're going to want to do is obtain your base type for a mace. You can do this one of two ways. Number one is just gambling here at Ange for any two-handed mace, and you're looking specifically for a magic mace like this one, which is blue, with a suffix modifier, but not a prefix modifier. So in this case, there's only one modifier. Strength is a suffix. If you didn't know that, when you hold the Alt key, you can see the word suffix right here. So we know it has an empty prefix. That's exactly what we're looking for. So the first way, again, you can just gamble at Ange. You have a ton of gold. You can just see what you get. But the second and easier way to do this is to open the market here with the slash key. If you don't know, the / key can open up this page in the game. And you want to go up here to the item category. Make sure you are selecting a two-handed mace. On the item rarity, make sure it is magic rarity. Item level 82 minimum. This is very important because that is the tier 1 threshold for % physical damage, which is what we're looking for. And then finally here under stat filters, number of empty prefix modifiers, minimum 1. Now what this is going to do is return every single magic mace in the game of at least item level 82 with an open prefix. And then you're just going to sort through here and look at all the maces. Now I highly recommend that you never go with the Fanatic Great Hammer, ever. This base type is terrible. It has terrible damage and terrible attack speed. It's basically just further simplistic here. That's why it has terrible stats. Do not buy the Fanatic Great Hammer. However, every other mace that you see here will likely be pretty good. And to guarantee that they're pretty good, not using like super low base types, you can put a minimum level requirement under the requirements filter. This is your character level, not the item level. Character level of 70 minimum. That way you're guaranteeing you're only seeing good base types here. So you just go through here and you're looking for actually any one of these will work, but I like to kind of fish for suffix modifiers here because there is a chance that you can keep whatever the suffix already is on the weapon once we go through the entire crafting process. So you don't have to do this. Remember, just ignore Fanatic Great Hammers. But for example, you can just buy any one you want, like for 1, 2 exalts, doesn't matter. Here, you got a massive Great Hammer with 12 strength for 3 exalts. Honestly, I would buy that. Massive Great Hammer is the best base type in my opinion because it has a decent attack speed and a very high amount of flat physical damage. Regardless, you're just going to go through this list and find whatever is suitable for you. Again, ignoring the Fanatic Great Hammer, every other Great Hammer should be perfectly fine. And if I had to give a hierarchy or a tier list for suffix modifiers, obviously best in slot would be reduced attribute requirements. Absolutely insane. You know, it cuts the amount of strength you need on your weapon by a metric booty butt ton when you factor in Giant's Blood. But plus strength is also good. Attack speed is good. And then past that, they're basically all just the same. So reduced attribute requirements, flat strength, or attack speed if you're actually going to look for specific suffixes, but you really do not need to. Regardless, once you have your base type, so in this case, it has strength on the weapon, you're going to take a perfect orb of augmentation. Prepare to do this step quite a bit because all you're looking for when you do this is % physical damage. Now, the reason why we want to use a perfect orb of augmentation is because it says right here, minimum modifier level. I'll leave a link to this website in the description below. If we go here and we look at two-handed maces and we look at all the modifiers, let's say we want % physical damage, we look at the modifier level, there are only 2 that have a higher level than 70, Tyrannical and Merciless. This is tier 2 fizz and T1% fizz. So we essentially are culling out all of these other modifiers that do not meet the threshold. In this case, for flat physical damage, we can literally only get this result right here, flaring. So it is by far the best strat to use, the perfect orb of augmentation. It drastically increases your chances at getting % physical damage. Let's see what we get. We got lightning damage. So in this case, this item is dead. Go ahead, vendor it, and reset and try again. All right, have another base type here. I'm going to repeat the same process. Boom, we got cold damage. Item is dead. Try again. All right, we got 2 more base types here. Let's see what we get. We got accuracy rating and lightning damage. Dead. Try again. 2 more base types. Here we go. We got 162% fizz. So this is exactly what we are looking for. 162% increased fizz. That is T2%. Now, you can also get % increased fizz hybrid, which is accuracy rating on top of this. The % physical damage will be much lower, and you'll see plus accuracy as well. That is a hybrid modifier. That's okay, but you really want to get just % physical damage because the roll is obviously much higher. So once you've completed this step, the next step is to use the Greater Essence of Abrasion. It says it upgrades a magic into a rare item, but it adds guaranteed flat physical damage. So we just slap this on here, bada bing, bada boom. We now have % fizz and flat fizz, which gives us an item already that has 582 physical damage per second, which is pretty good. However, we're about to get a lot crazier. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. So the next step I want to do, because I'm playing a fire-based slam build, is put on this essence right here, which says two-handed melee weapon gets damage as extra fire damage, up to 33%, which is really good. But this is a perfect essence, and it says it removes a random modifier on the item first, and then augments it with the modifier. So to guarantee that we keep our prefixes, which we can do, both the percent fizz and the flat fizz, we have to do two things. Number one, we have to fill the item's affixes entirely. Rare items can have 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. So in this case, I'm going to use a Omen of Dextral Exaltation. So the next exalt only adds suffixes because I want to keep the prefix for the Essence of Flames. And then I'm going to use the Greater Exaltation just so I can save a little bit of money. These are like, 1 to 2 exalts each, and a Greater Exalt is like 4 to 5, something like that. So it just saves you a little bit of money. I'm going to do this so that the next exalt only adds suffixes, and it will do it twice. So it should fill my suffixes as so. Now I have an open prefix. Then what I can do is use the Omen of Dextral Crystallization, which says the next perfect essence, which this is a perfect essence, will only ever remove a suffix modifier. Click this, make sure it's active, then go to Perfect Essence of Flames, click this bad boy on, and what do you know? Look at that. We get extra damage as fire damage, flat fizz, and percent fizz guaranteed. Again, that step was totally optional. You do not have to do that. Just it's a lot of damage for free. Just you're paying a tiny bit of money to get this mod guaranteed on your item. The prefixes are entirely finished, and if you're playing fire damage build, that adds quite a bit of overall damage. Regardless, if you do the essence, you do actually want to do the step where you fill the affixes on the item, and I'll explain why right now. So now the next step here is to guarantee that we get the desecrated modifier on the item. That is the chance for Mace Slam skills you use yourself to cause aftershocks, or the fissure one, whichever one you want. I actually recommend the aftershock one if you're following the Firebringer build. Basically, it gives you a little bit of single target and a little bit of clear speed, whereas the fissure mod only gives you clear speed. So the next thing we're going to do is use the Omen of Liege, which guarantees an Amamanu modifier, an Amumu modifier, as I like to call it, which again is the suffix for the aftershocks. So we're just going to do that, guarantee it's the correct one. In this case, we have an empty suffix because we did the essence craft. If you already have full suffixes on your item, you need to make sure that you use this omen as well, which is the Omen of Dextro Necromancy, which says your next desecration will only add a suffix modifier. This is absolutely critical to use if you have full suffixes, because if you don't use this omen right here, which guarantees a suffix, you have a chance to hit off your percent fizz, your flat fizz, your fire damage, whatever it is. So in this case, I don't have full suffixes. I have an empty slot, which desecration will never remove a modifier on an item unless the item is full completely on modifiers. So in this case, I am safe to just simply guarantee Amumanu. Go here, click the jawbone, and we're going to desecrate as a suffix. We keep our prefixes. They're totally safe. Now we have a desecrated suffix. Here's where the fun part comes in. The next step is to guarantee that we get +6 level to all skills, and then optionally, if you want it, the onslaught on killing blow. In this case, I don't really need the onslaught, but let's try and get it anyway. So if you're going to use both of these, I recommend you start with Perfect Essence of Haste. By the way, onslaught gives you 20% skill speed and 10% movement speed, so it just helps your general clear speed quite a bit, and you only get it on kill, so it's never going to proc on a boss unless it has an ad phase for some reason. Regardless, if you do plan to use this one, go first with this because it has a chance of hitting off the modifier that you just put on for Amumanu. But the cool thing about essences is that you don't need to guarantee it only removes a suffix modifier. Even though it says removes a random modifier and augments the rare, it can only ever remove a suffix if the mod itself from the essence is also a suffix. So if you do plan on using the Perfect Essence of Haste, you start with this one because it's much cheaper than the Perfect Essence of Battle. And so long as your item is completely filled on suffixes, you don't have to worry about this essence removing one of your prefix modifiers because the modifier of the essence itself is a suffix. So you can never have 4 suffixes on an item, right? So this item will only ever remove a suffix to add the new suffix that the essence gives you. So you don't have to worry about losing your prefix of your fizz damage, your flat fizz, your extra fire, none of that. It will never remove it. The only thing it can remove is number 1, whatever suffix was already on the item when you purchased it, and number 2, the desecrated mod that we just added. So in this case, we'll try and hit the Perfect Essence of Haste. Let's see if we can remove the crit or the life per enemy killed. We removed the life per enemy killed, pretty much the best result there. So in this case, we're going to use the Perfect Essence of Battle. That was a 2 in 3 chance, by the way, to not remove the desecrated mod. Now we're going to use Perfect Essence of Battle. We have a 1 in 3 chance to hit off the critical chance, which is what we want. And then we can also hit off the onslaught or the desecrated mod. Let's see what it gives. It hit off the crit chance. First try. All right, this is literally the weapon right here. The only step that we have to do now is unveil that desecrated modifier. In this case, I highly recommend you buy an Omen of Abyssal Echoes, which allows you to re-roll the desecrated mod 1 time whenever it shows up. So I'm going to activate that. Make sure it is active before you unveil. This is extremely important. You used to be able to do it. The initial version of this patch, they had a version where you could save this Omen basically. That is no longer the case. So make sure this is active, has the red border around it before you unveil. And again, you're looking for Aftershock chance. Let's see if we hit it. We got it on the first try. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There you go. There's the crafting. It's all there is to it. Boom. Mace Slam skills, you use yourself to do Aftershock. This is also a very good modifier. Fissure skills have a chance to create an additional fissure. Again, this is just for clear speed purposes versus the Aftershock is for clear speed plus a little bit of single target as well. But There you go, gentlemen. Throw the mace in, get it back out. Bada bing, bada boom. You now have, let's see how much damage this thing has, especially once you put in some iron runes. Go in here, put 2 sockets on it. Go over here to the fragment tab, find the greater iron rune. Bada bing, bada boom. We are looking at a 662 DPS. Let's put it at 20% quality. Why not? 662 DPS, 31 damage is extra fire, onslaught on kill, +6 aftershock mace. And I crafted it. Honestly, I got pretty lucky with the not hitting off any of the modifiers, but that's basically what you have to do. It is very, very simple. Now, obviously, after making this video, the prices are probably going to go up. A lot of people are using all the different omens and whatnot, so I expect those prices to all be the same. Maybe the specific, like, fire, gain extra as fire essence will go up in price, something like that. So keep that in mind, as with any crafting video that you watch from a content creator. Obviously, after the process has been revealed in its entirety, the prices are probably going to go on up. But I guarantee you that this is going to be much cheaper than just outright buying the mace for this build. So these are the only 2 maces that are currently on the market that are similar to mine. 639, 648. Again, ours was 662, so quite a bit different. And you can see that these do not have the gain extra as fire. This one has gain extra as fizz, and this one has elemental damage. So our mace, safe to say, is significantly better than both of these, quite frankly, meaning this will sell for a pretty penny. The only thing is, if you fail these essences, as in it removes one of the essential modifiers, you can literally just keep guaranteeing your suffixes. Once your prefixes are done, quote unquote, you never have to worry about overriding them whatsoever. It's just a matter of time before you get +6 skills, onslaught, and aftershock simultaneously on the item. And again, if you don't even want onslaught, it's even easier to get the guaranteed suffixes because you won't have to worry about overrolling it, right? Anyway, hope this video helped you guys out. Go craft some big bonk mace hammers for the build. You can check out my stream at twitch.tv/Woolie Gaming. Ask any questions if you need help with this crafting method, or you just want to talk about anything in general, really, or the build, Firebringer build, whatever you want. Just come by the stream, twitch.tv/Woolie Gaming, baby. Other than that, 07 in the chat. Oh my gosh. Other than that, 07, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.